When working with animals, you get the positives and the negatives, and sometimes it doesn't go in your favor. So today we'd like to touch base on some of the negatives when working with animals or breeding with animals, and we're going to look at deformities and what the possible reasoning for it could be. The first reason that you could possibly have deformities in your clutch of ball pythons is an increase in incubational temperature. So if you incubate, for instance, at 51 degrees and there's a slight spike in your temperatures in your incubator, this could lead to some deformities in the clutch. But some spike in temperatures doesn't necessarily lead to kinking in animals. Another thing is if you incubate at too high of a temperature, could also lead to some problems. The second reasoning could be parthenogenesis. So parthenogenesis is basically when a female reproduces herself. So there's no male copulation and she stimulates her follicle development by herself where there's no male interaction. And what I've seen in the past, some of these animals don't do as well compared to a normal ball python hatchling. Some of them might have some kinking or some deformities, so that could be another possibility. The third reasoning could be your pairings. So some ball python pairings are known to have some deformities. For instance, super cinnamons, super black pastels, and even the combination of both could have some genetic defects. So I always say try and avoid those pairings to have 100% healthy babies. Then the fourth one is natural occurrence. So sometimes it's just not meant to be. You can have 15 or 20 clutches that hatch out absolutely perfect, but in those clutches there's one animal that could be deformed. And that's not really something specifically to the incubator or what you have done wrong. It's just Mother Nature taking the course, and most probably that egg or that hatchling would not have survived in the wild. So this past season we bred a pastel lavender double-head clown-pied female to an OD yellow-belly fire-pied head clown. There was originally 10 eggs and only 8 babies hatched out, and after a closer inspection on some of the babies, I noticed that some of them has got smaller eyes. So as you guys can see, this is still a stunning hatchling, and it's actually had 5 meals already. So it's thriving and doing normally as all of the other hatchlings. And in this clutch of eggs, we also got another hatchling who has got 2 perfectly somewhat eyes. But if you focus closely, you'll see that the left eye of the animal is slightly smaller than the right eye. And yet again, guys, this animal is absolutely perfect and thriving and doing very, very well. But in the same clutch of eggs, we had a couple of babies actually, that came out perfectly normal and is just as healthy as any other baby that we've hatched out in the past. And this is the cream of the crop. This is an OD yellow belly pastel clown pied head for lavender. He's going in shed, but still a real awesome animal. Okay guys, so here we've got a hatchling with a bit of a shorter neck. So if I even didn't tell you this animal has got a shorter neck, you would not have noticed it. So with these animals, they actually do absolutely perfect. We've got an adult female Mojave yellow belly double head DG pied, and she's born in 2020 and she is still thriving and doing very well. So these animals, you can still keep them and they still make awesome pets. Like I said, I don't necessarily recommend breeding them, but there is the possibility of doing it, just depending on how severe it is and where the kinking or the deformities is. But let's go take a look at that adult female and see how she is doing. So the last animal we're going to show you is this Mojave yellow belly double head DG pied. And as you guys can see, even though she's got a bit of a slight setback, she's still a feisty female and doing extremely well. This female was bred in 2020 by us, and as you guys can see, she's a perfectly normal adult, and you can see she's got a bit of a shorter neck, but she's still thriving. And that's what I want to get to today, is even though some of the animals has got some deformities, they can still thrive and be an awesome pet for somebody else. So always keep that in mind if you have some deformities in the near future.